at 7:02. I'd like to ask our student board member, Logan Jewett, representing La Quinta High School, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call will reflect that all board members and cabinet are present. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 20th, 2024?
So move, Linda Porras.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with one preferential vote. Board meeting addenda. Dr. May Volmar, are there any addenda to tonight's agenda?
Yes, there is what hopefully will not be too confusing, an error in the numbering of the agenda items. So item number 24, reinstate student case number 22/23-39, should be item 23.1 under item 23, which is consent item student matters, and not its own separate agenda item. So this correction will alter the numbering of the remaining agenda items by one number. For example, the posted agenda item number 21, consent item business services, will now become item 24.
Thank you. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda of the regular meeting of March 5th, 2024?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second, Linda Porras.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with one preferential vote. Community and staff and student recognition, Dr. May Volmar.
Yes, I would like to invite our Public Information Officer, Mary Perry, to the podium.
Well, what an amazing couple of weeks it's been in the world of DSUSD wrestling. Athletes from IHS, PDHS, and SHHS, that's hard to say, all competed at the state level with some great results. So as I call your name, if you could come on up here and join me, and we have a little bit of something to share with you. So first of all, congratulations to Indio High School's Miguel Sandana, who finished 10th in the state competition. Is Miguel here? No? Miguel's not here. Do one of the coaches want to come up and get his certificate? All right, Derek, would you please come up and get his certificate?
Woo, Indio.
Woo! I know, right? How many wrestling coaches do you have? You know, three. Okay. So this is the certificate. I'm going to talk loud. This is the certificate from Miguel. This is a pin from Miguel. This is a certificate for the coaching staff and pins for the coaches. So congratulations, Miguel. So over at Palm Desert High School, 9 boys competed at the state level, 5 of them placing at state. The boys team as a whole finished 7th in the state. And individual athletes taking home a championship are first place, Brock Montanona. And my able assistant will give you the certificate and your pin. Placing second, Andrew Barbosa. Congratulations. Andrew, congratulations. Well done. Yep. Coming in third place,
Stand up here.
David Alonso. Congratulations, well done. Coming in fourth place, Diego Costa. Congratulations. And rounding out the whole wrestling awards here for Palm Desert High School is Diego Morales, placing 7th. Woo! Thank you very much. So we also have a certificate for the coaching staff, as well as pins for the coaches. I understand there are 10 of you. There are 10 wrestling coaches at Palm Desert High School. You must each focus on one area, right? Yeah, okay. If you want, I can give you the pins after, so we keep it moving along. Thank you. Yes. So lest you think it's all about boys wrestling, Palm Desert High School also has the 5th place winner at state in the girls' competition. Chloe Overgaard. Is Chloe here? Chloe's not. You look like Chloe. It's fine. Mm-hmm. And I'll get you the pins. All right, so Shadow Hills. They also took home honors in wrestling, with Alyssa Murillo placing in the top 24. Is Alyssa? No, Alyssa's not here. Coach is going to accept. And Kaylin Montano, 7th in the state for the girls' competition. I know, is it Felicito, is he here? Okay, and for the boys' team, Felicito Nunez placed also in the top 24 in California. Woo! And Coach, could you come back? Congratulations. So we do have a certificate for the coaching staff. I understand there are 2 wrestling coaches at Shadow, is that correct? All right, so we have pins for both of you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, you guys. All right, we're going to go from the mat to the pool. So it's been a wild time over at Indio High School. For the first time in several decades, Indio High School received first place in a CIF team competition with the Raja Girls Water Polo team. I know they've been all over the news and they've had lots of exciting compliments, but believe us, the district and all of the schools in DSUSD are so proud and excited for you. So ladies, I'm going to call your names. My able assistant will hand you your certificate and your pin. And if I don't get your names right, please just let me and I'll say it again. Layla Alwisha. Mia Wellner. Lily Carmen. Congratulations. And I think it's only fitting that Mary Perry calls up Clover Cordova. Kaylee Cuevas. I love your name. Alyssa Gunther. Congratulations. And I didn't know she played water polo, but Jennifer Lopez. Lorena Magana. Sadie Nava. Sienna Rodriguez. Congratulations. Allison Russell. Okay, from you, a hug. Congratulations. And I'd like to call up the 2 coaches, Coach Marcos Perez and Coach Isabella Salcido. Oh, look at that. He brought the plaque. Woohoo! Congratulations. All right, did I get everybody? Did I forget anybody? We will take group pictures out on the staircase in the foyer following board comments. And I have one more award that I would like to share. If the young lady who is receiving this would step down from the dais, I would really appreciate it. So, Dr. Kelly Mae Vollmer. So for those of you who aren't aware, there were several of us who went to Sacramento last week for the CalSPRA, the California School Public Relations Association Conference. And it was so exciting that there were 5 superintendents out of the entire state who were awarded a Superintendent to Watch award. And I have to also note that of the 5, 3 of them were from Riverside County. So, yeah. So please join me in congratulating our Superintendent to Watch, Kelly Mae Vollmer. And that's it for tonight, but I think there's one other person who wants to do some awards.
There is, so you can't leave.
Okay.
So young lady, if you'll stand right over here. So I'm making the other young lady stand right.
I haven't called young lady in a very long time.
So as Mary mentioned, we were at CalSPRA this last week, which is the California School Public Relations Association Conference. And I will tell you that going to that conference with Mary Perry is like walking around with Taylor Swift. Everybody knows her and is thrilled to see her. But we're very, very proud of our lean and mean communications team, which consists of Mary Perry and Jan Diaz. I don't think Jan's here this evening, does she? No. Yeah. Yes. So they are an amazing team. And then one of the other things that's so special about Desert Sands is that we work very, very hard to collaborate across divisions and across departments. And one of those very special collaborations is with the technology department and how they do so much in the field of communications and working with our communications team. And so our Front and Center publication, which the board is familiar with, where we highlight those employees that work behind the scenes and do special videos to share out with the entire district. And that Front and Center series is created by Mary Perry, Jan Diaz, and Sean Insinius worked with them on that. And so they received the Award of Merit at CalSPRA for their amazing work. And I will just tell you, it's really an honor to stand here and acknowledge the work that they do, because they do so much, and we're so thankful and so proud of what you do. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, introduction of new or recently promoted employees. There are none. Board and superintendent comments. Mr. Jewett.
Congrats to all of the wrestlers and the girls water polo team for all your hard work.
Mr. Duran.
Yes, I also want to extend my congratulations to the water polo teams and the wrestling teams from Palm Desert and La Quinta. Your efforts have shown your dedication to your craft and your sport. I'm extremely pleased to learn of your successes this season, and also would like to extend a thank you to the coaches. I coach with Marcos Perez over there. I know he does a fabulous job. Mr. Davis over there at Shadow Hill, see him all the time with his athletes. And, of course, Mr. Santana in the back. I watched an old reel there on KESQ with the dedication. Came across as a true leader. These are good role models that absolutely set the standard and the bar high so that our students can achieve it and even exceed it. So thank you, coaches. Thank you, students, for the wonderful efforts that you have put in. You have let Desert Sands see you shine. We are proud of you. Best to you. May you have a great rest of your school year.
Forrest.
To all the wrestling from teams from Indio High School, Palm Desert, and Shadow, and to the number one first place for CIF swim water polo girls, Indio High School Rajas. Yeah. I'm a Raja, so I always have to say that. Now I have to, is your daughter one of the, oh my God, she looks like you. That's so cool. Anyway, congratulations. And I just have to say, Kelly, I'm so excited. Of course, you are a superintendent to watch. We've been watching you, and we've been so proud of you. So congratulations. And Mary Perry, you are amazing. You know that we love you, and you have always done just a top-notch job in whatever you touch and do. And we so appreciate all that you do. You and Jan are a force to be reckoned with, so appreciate you. And Sean, you are amazing as well back there hiding behind the computer. So anyways, I just wanted to say that right before this meeting, we went over and saw the STEAM event that's happening over at DC in North, and it was so amazing. All the teachers are super excited. I love the parent participation with their kids, putting together all the little things. They made a little roller coaster out of paper and take the kids to the moon. Anyway, it was really exciting. So, but that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Mr. Alvarez.
It's just amazing the accomplishments that our students have done in their respective sports. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Whether it's a wrestling, water polo, or whatever you set your mind to. But I think more importantly to note is the time commitment you've put in, the extra hours to go above and beyond those around you to try to stand out and fight for that title, whether it's 10th place, 7th place, 1st place. It's those efforts you guys have done. And if you keep that attitude and mentality, you'll do very well in life. So just wanted to say congratulations for those efforts. And also, you know what, Sean, Jan, and Mary, collectively, they do an amazing work for our district, and we want to recognize them. And we're very fortunate that they got recognized in Sacramento, but we already knew that. We already know they're doing a great job, and we're so thankful that you're getting recognized for what you guys do day in and day out. So we want to say thank you to your whole team, Mary. And obviously, we do want to recognize Dr. May Volmer for her accomplishments, and congratulations for being named one to watch. And it's amazing that 3 of them came from Riverside County, so that's amazing. But thank you for everything that you're doing for the district and leading everyone into an avenue that we want to be in, and we know that we're making some great strides. So I think the whole district is a district to watch. But just want to say thank you to you guys. And this past, when they had the math field day for elementary, there are many students doing great things, not only in sports, but in academics as well, as we prepare our students for the upcoming middle school competition. So looking forward to that. And I do want to, maybe challenge our ELOP program or after-school program or CTE program, challenge you guys, those of you who are leading it. There are other competitions in the Valley that we're not participating in. Kidwin, to name one. It's in our own backyard. The other districts participate, but somehow Desert Sands is not there being represented. So I challenge you. I put that challenge out last year, and crickets from us. So, think about the things that many of our students, nearly 25,000 of them, elementary, middle school, and high school, there's competitions there, and we're just failing to put someone forward. I think that there are many of you who can do so well and given that opportunity or exposure to it. So it's a challenge that we can, I think, undertake in putting a team together from one of the schools, or if not all of the schools. So that's one thing. And then also just want to get some, I'll say that for the end. But that's it. Thank you so much.
Ms. Pierce.
I'd like to congratulate the Indio High, Palm Desert, and Shadow Hills wrestling teams, boys and girls. Fantastic showing at state level. And Indio High School's water polo girls, first place. That's amazing. And also, congratulations to our superintendent for her recognition
as has been said, we know we have a good thing, and we're very proud of her and how she relates to all levels of our district and is able to create an excellent climate here and culture that we can be proud of. Also to the communications and public relations team, congratulations to them for their recognition. That's about it, I think. Thank you.
Too would like to congratulate all the athletes that are here and even the ones that didn't come. I always want to acknowledge the staff, the principals, and the coaches that are here supporting the students. I think that means a lot. I too would like to say congratulations to Mary Perry and the communications team, and I truly appreciate all of the hard work that Mary puts in that people don't see, but we appreciate. Also, Dr. May Volmar, I hope that the students and the staff understand how great of a superintendent we have. And we as a board are lucky to have somebody that is so pro-student and looking for the best interest of our staff and students. So we're lucky to have her. I attended the elementary math field day at Shadow Hills on Saturday, and it was really amazing to see how many kids put in the effort for months to practice all of their math games and come out on a Saturday and spend their day competing with each other. And some of the schools, I think it was Monroe, had 50 students that attended it, so it was really great to see. After that, I went up to Riverside for the Riverside County Science and Engineering Fair Award ceremony, and we had a lot of our students, my daughter, and Miss Seg's daughter also won at the awards. But it was amazing to see how many of our Desert Sand students actually placed at the county science fair as well. Dr. Mabelmer?
Yes, thank you. So I just want to echo what's already been said, but congratulations to all of our student athletes. We are very aware that those accomplishments came with many, 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 many hours of practice and dedication in addition to attending to your academics. So please know that we are so very proud of you and what you've accomplished. Really, really very special. And it's really special for us that you would come and celebrate with us this evening. So thank you for being here. Also want to just say thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate it. I will say beyond a shadow of a doubt that leadership is a team sport. So I do think Desert Sands is a district to watch, and anything that we accomplish together. So thank you for that. I also want to just give a shout out. While at CalSPRA, we have a new director of community engagement and educational foundation, Francine Zabata, and she also won an award. She won the Award of Excellence for her work in Beaumont. So even though it wasn't in Desert Sands, it was in Beaumont. We're very proud of her, yeah. So, yes. So just want to give her a shout out on some really great work. That was very exciting to see her being awarded as well. And then finally, I just want to share, actually I'm so glad there are so many students in the room and more staff members than normal. March is known for March Madness, if you're a basketball fan. But in the school district, there's also a little bit of March Madness that people comment on. And that's because it's a very, very long stretch until our next break, which is spring break. And although joking about the March Madness icon, I will very seriously say to our staff and to our students, it is a long stretch and you're working very, very hard. So please take care of yourself. If you find yourself overwhelmed or stretched or stressed, please know that we have request for assistance forms that are on the back of your lanyard if you're a secondary student. And for our staff, we have the Employee Assistance Program. We know it's a long stretch. And the thing that we want you to do most is to take care of yourself so that we can continue to have nights like tonight where we're honoring and celebrating the great work done by our staff and students. So thank you.
I'd like to give everyone the opportunity that came for awards to go and celebrate with your friends and family, unless you would like to stay for the remainder of the meeting. No, they have an ASB presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. Public comments on open session items. Communications from the floor. In accordance with bylaws of the board, number 9323, time is reserved for oral communications by members of the Board of Education or by citizens. Citizens wishing to be heard on agenda items, regular or special meetings, and/or non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, regular meetings only, shall have a 3-minute limit. A total of 20 minutes will be reserved for public comment on each item. The board president, with the concurrence of the board, may extend this time if deemed appropriate due to the number of citizens who wish to speak on an item. In accordance with the law, the board cannot take action on any matter not appearing on the agenda, as indicated in bylaws of the board number 9232.2. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda, regular or special meeting, or non-agenda item, regular meeting. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Please be advised that there is a possibility that some items discussed during public comment will not be developmentally appropriate for minors. We ask that parents use their discretion when choosing to remain in the boardroom during public comment. If you choose to leave the room, you may wait in the overflow location at the end of the hallway, and you will be notified when public comments have concluded. We have no online public comments tonight, and we have one from the room, Danny Oswood.
Good evening. My name is Danny Oswood, and I'm here tonight to speak to you as a 25-year educator, DSUSD teacher, step-parent, and coach. Desert Sands Unified School District has identified a vision, a mission, and 9 values for our schools, staff, and students. I'd like to talk about one of those values tonight, respect. I think we have all lost sight of what this word means on a daily basis. It can be as simple as saying thank you or you're welcome, or as complex as valuing the opinions and professional expertise of administration, faculty, and staff. School is a very different place than when most of us were young. Students, due in large part to technology and social media, are inundated with so many different messages and videos on a daily basis. We are starting to lose the ability to engage in life, and we have to fight the tendency to be bystanders in our own lives and education. Students are not respecting the process of learning. Instead, they are using AI tools to complete their work, plagiarizing or blatantly copying someone else's work. Teach them to respect the struggle and sense of accomplishment that comes from working hard and doing something by yourself. Schools are designed to create curious learners and problem solvers. Life is not easy, and we do not empower our children by taking the struggle out of life. We empower them by pushing them to find the best in themselves and to respect the value of hard work and of helping others. Guide and support them in this struggle and teach them that there is a community of adults who want them to succeed. We cannot optimally teach students who are not present in a class or constantly arriving late. Please work with your students to not only get them to school ready to learn, but to get them to school on time. We need your help and support to make that happen. The reality that many teachers and admin face is that more and more students have very little respect for the people that are trying their best to educate and advocate for them. All of us, parents, guardians, faculty, staff, and administration, are the education team, and we need to find ways to work together in respectful ways to help our students. Your students watch how their guiding adults interact with other adults on campus, and they take their behavior cues from you. If you're okay with yelling and belittling teachers and administration, your students will do the same. Some of our teachers are experiencing physical attacks on a daily basis. Some of our teachers do not feel safe in their own classrooms. Students are filing false claims against teachers because they do not like them or want to move to a different classroom or just to get someone in trouble. Inappropriate language and hateful slurs are becoming all too common. Some students use school as a social meeting place, caring little about their academic progress or future. Unkind interactions among students and bullying behavior are becoming more frequent. It is very hard to create a good learning environment when people do not feel safe. All of us need to work together to bring respect back to the institution of learning. We want safe and high-performing schools for all of our students, but it has to be intentional. We need to shift our thinking from what are they doing wrong to what can I do to help. I firmly believe that we all want what is best for our children and young adults, but that does not happen in an environment of hate and distrust. We have to learn to work together again. Thank you.
Palm Desert High School Winter Guard participation in the Winter Guard International World Championship in Dayton, Ohio from April 9th to 14th, 2024. Staff conference items, Dr. May Volmar.
Yes, our first staff conference item this evening is our La Quinta High School ASB report. And Logan, we will turn that over to you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us this time to showcase LQ. I'm Logan Jewett. I'm LQHS's Executive President, and thank you to the board and Superintendent Dr. May Valmar for welcoming us. I'll start off by introducing our very own ASB sitting here in the audience with us. The mission of ASB is to embrace the responsibility of selfless service to students, staff, and the Quinta community. We are committed to fostering the ideals of the democratic process, school spirit, and campus unity, while steadfastly upholding the values of servant leadership, integrity, and diversity. ASB runs a variety of events catered towards the student body. Pictured is our most recent homecoming parade through Old Town La Quinta and the homecoming dance. We put on rallies to showcase our school spirit and to recognize our sports teams. At LQ, we have a variety of clubs active on campus and in the community, and we'd like to take a moment to recognize just a few of them. Shout out to Chef Wood for taking on the Garden Club, who are fully growing their own flowers, vegetables, fruits, and they even have hydroponics, truly making it a farm-to-table experience. Next is the Peer Support Club, run by Mrs. Bolanos and Club President Angelina. Their main mission is mental awareness, love, and support. The Car Club has recently put on their 9th annual car show, bringing all types of people from the community who all share a common love for cars. The CSF, or California Scholarship Federation, helps connect students not only with scholarships, but also volunteer opportunities. They recently worked with Toys for Tots and collected nearly 150 toys worth $600 to be donated. Mock Trial is a fantastic club at LQ run by advisor Mr. White. They had the privilege of heading over to the Indio and the Riverside County courthouses to compete against other schools in mock trials, and LQ came out victorious. Fashion clubs help students to express their inner selves and discover new career paths. At the end of each year, they take a field trip to the El Paseo Fashion Week and are given the opportunity to go backstage and meet designers. And then the Science Bowl is a quiz bowl team that competes against other schools at JPL competitions. Even though they haven't won a championship yet, they're inching first with their second place win, and we're really proud and know they'll be working for NASA in years to come. LQ is very proud of all of our sports teams and what they have accomplished. Cross country has had multiple athletes qualify for CIF prelims. Volleyball played in a CIF wildcard game, and girls tennis made it into CIF round 1. Football also played in CIF round 1, and girls golf had an individual player in CIF round 2, as well as boys water polo also in CIF round 2. Winter sports, girls basketball played in CIF round 1, making it to CIF for the 7th year in a row. Girls water polo became CIF semifinalists. Girls wrestling had 4 placers at the CIF Eastern Division Championship, who then competed at a CIF Masters Tournament, as well as boys wrestling, who had 3 placers at the Eastern Division Championship, who also competed at the CIF Masters Tournament. We would like to congratulate the dance team for becoming Grandmaster champs for the 3rd year in a row, coming home with 9 trophies to add to the collection, as well as our winter guard, who also placed first with a victory at Aliso Niguel High School. At LQ, the arts are very important to us and personally very close to me. LQ has many bands, including our marching band and wind ensemble. The LQ Jazz Ensemble just recently won first place at the Mayfair Jazz Festival. Choir holds many performances throughout the year, regularly sings the national anthem at rallies and home games, and recently went to a competition called Music in the Parks, in which they won multiple awards, including first place. The LQHS Theater puts on 3 productions each year, giving great entertainment for all of La Quinta. Their next show is the musical Legally Blonde, coming up this March. You all are welcome. They are supported by the technical theater class, whose students build all the sets, work on costumes, and work as stage and lighting crew for all the performances. Of course, we can't forget LQ is known for being the Desert Sands IB High School, and they've put together a video for us.
Oh, hello and welcome. Today, let's explore the IB program,
the AVID program,
and more that are integrated here at this unique educational experience at La Quinta High School.
an IB World School.
At LQHS, we are committed to nurturing well-rounded individuals who excel not only academically, but also in essential life skills.
Our focus is on critical thinking, effective research, and communication with a global perspective.
We follow the Black Rock Way, inspired by the Ivy Learner profiles.
Our students embody characteristics such as principled, balanced, open-minded, and caring.
These qualities contribute to the development of a strong character and a sense of responsibility.
Every graduating student from LQHS will engage the IB experience, providing them a flexible and enriching education, which will provide them, again, their needs and aspirations.
At La Quinta High School, all students take IB language and literature, choosing between standard level and higher level based on their interests and goals. This course emphasizes effective communication, critical analysis, and an appreciation for language and literature.
In addition to the IB program, LQHS is proud to offer the AVID program, advancement via individual determination.
AVID ensures that every student receives the best first instruction, utilizing AVID Waker strategies: writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. These strategies support students school-wide on their journey to college and career success.
Yay!
For those seeking an even more comprehensive experience, students can opt for the IB Full Diploma.
This involves taking 6 IB courses, one from each discipline, and completing the diploma core, so we'll explore that next.
Now, let's delve into the heart of the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. That being theory of knowledge, the extended essay, and creativity activity service, also known as CAS.
The extended essay is a 4,000-word independent research project, allowing students to explore a topic of interest and develop critical research and writing skills.
The theory of knowledge encourages students to question the nature of knowledge and explore different ways of knowing.
And understanding the role of perspective in shaping our understanding of the world.
Lastly, creativity activity service CAS is all about experimental learning, developing personal and interpersonal skills through creative, active, and service-oriented experience. This year, we are mentoring 5th graders at Amelia Earhart School.
As we navigate the IB Diploma Core, the AVID program, and the unique offerings at La Quinta High School, remember that our goal is to shape futures by empowering students to become knowledgeable, thoughtful, and compassionate individuals.
Join us on this exciting journey as we embrace the IB experience and the AVID program together.
Along with all of our IB classes, LQ is also proud to offer a variety of CTE pathways that will be showcased in this next video. Yes. Thank you all for your time and listening about LQHS. Thank you for ASB coming to support me and my family as well. And thank you to the board and superintendent.
Any comments, Mr. Duran?
Wow, what a wonderful production and presentation. Made me excited. I wanted to go back to school again. You see some of the robotics and the medical field and everything there that was displayed was just incredible. It's a real treat to see each and every one of you so involved in your school and your community and coming out here this evening to show us exactly what's happening there at your school and what an impact it's having in your lives. I'm so happy to see each and every one of you. I had 3 daughters. They graduated from La Quinta High School. I know I have teachers in the audience that might still remember them. And you're all such a wonderful addition to the community there and the staff and the climate. I love that you're here. I love your T-shirts, and you're well represented right up here on the board by Logan. So thank you, everybody, for coming this evening, and continue the great work.
Exactly what I thought. I thought, man, I'd love to go back to school. Logan, you did an excellent job, and we really appreciated having you here on the board with us. And it's so great to see your mom and your family here in the audience. And ASB, you guys rock. It's so cool to have everybody here to support him and your school. Man, I couldn't think of the word, and I had to ask Mr. Duran. I'm like, how in the heck were they going through the school so fast? It's like that drone, man. Whoever was operating that did an excellent job, man. Because it was, anyway, that was amazing to be able to see the high school that fast. There's no way we could have seen the high school that fast running through it. But anyway, congratulations, La Quinta High School. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
I want to say great job on the presentation, and having each and every one of you here tonight, giving up your free time, it shows a collective commitment to supporting one another. That's what school's about, is being there for each other. So I want to just acknowledge you guys for doing that, and just a great presentation. There are many great things happening at La Quinta, so you guys keep up the great work, and thank you to the leadership at the site.
Said, but I'm really proud of La Quinta High School. My sons went there, and it's close to my house, and I have a special, it's in my trustee area too, so it's my special place. But I love that you guys have so much going on at the school. I too would love to go back with so many welcoming things and the training that you get to get. I used to say in the old days we had home economics and wood shop and welding, and finally high schools are bringing back skills that kids can go and get training for and explore, so you know what you want to do. So I just love seeing all that, and your support with Logan and all your ASB officers and all the activities that you do for this school. I want to congratulate you on your support too. Oh, who made the video? Like a certain department or you guys?
The videos were made by the departments themselves. So IB took their video, did that, and then somebody was professionally hired for the CTE videos.
The drone were flying through, was that your drone department too?
That was somebody we hired.
Oh, okay. Speedy drone.
Yeah, thank you. That was really an amazing presentation. I suggested to the superintendent that we use that as a district because you make us look good, and that's really important. So all I have to say to Ms. Seg, who's here still, this ASB, they're going to put up a big fight for the competition at the ASB event. So I'm excited to see what everybody else has to bring. Yeah, Dr. Mabel Moore.
Well, that was fantastic. Honestly, it was a little bit like watching a college campus tour, to be honest. So really wonderful job to each and every one of you. Did a great job on the presentation tonight, but I know you do great work all throughout the school year for the students at La Quinta High School, so we appreciate that. And Logan, on behalf of the board, we want to thank you for your service these last 2 board meetings. You have been absolutely amazing, been engaged, and it's been such a pleasure to have you, and we have a plaque that we'd like to give you.
if all of our ASB students want to head out, you are more than welcome to.
Our second item under staff conference items is our second interim financial report, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Transportation. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Transportation is second, and I'm still going to turn it over to Mr. Aquino.
Good evening, board. I'd like to introduce to you, if you don't already know him, our Director of Transportation Services, Mr. Chuck Lewruski. So additional transportation funding, also called Home to School Transportation Reimbursement, was implemented in 2022 by Assembly Bill 181 and amended by AB 185. It provides reimbursement funding for school districts based on the prior year eligible transportation expenditures. As a condition of receiving these funds, the district needed to develop a plan describing the transportation services offered to students. The plan was originally adopted by the board last year, and we are required to annually update that plan before April 1st of each year. And Mr. Lewruski is going to go over the transportation services plan.
I'd like to thank the board and executive cabinet for having me here tonight to kind of go through this. I know, like Jordan said, we did do this last year, but this is kind of just an update as that's something that is part of the mandate in order to receive the funds. Next slide. Oh, clicker. This one? This one? Gotcha. Thank you. So the mandate basically requires us to describe our transportation services for pupils, obviously prioritizing transitional kindergarten, and kindergarten and grade to 6 and low-income pupils. Also emphasizes on the accessibility for disabled pupils and homeless youth as well as foster youth. It's also required, as we mentioned, to be updated annually. So what we do, we'll go through the financials and some other stuff that's updated towards the end of the presentation here. And then, as Jordan said, AB 181 was implemented in 2022. In order to receive this funding, we had to put this transportation plan together last year and present it to the board before April 1st. Some of the operations and management procedures. Basically, transportation is governed by board policies, administrative regulations, and state laws. We always, as a department, prioritize the safety, the assistance for handicapped students, and transportation, and obviously field trips and all the other activities that the students do throughout the year. Some of the other things we have there in the operations is just route management. So we're always obtaining new information based off of routes, having new software to route, all those types of technologies in order to make things more efficient, get more students on buses. That kind of technology also helps us assign students to buses based off of eligibility, based off of how far they live from school, what school is their home school. So again, that's just part of that plan. We do need to maintain all that route information and bus stop listings, which we do in the system, and then we also have that available online for parents to take a look at to see where stops are local to where they live. Obviously, we always prioritize safety in route and stop design. So, we will take a busy street, for example, right here on Dune Palms. We have students that live on both sides of the street that attend the same schools, but we create a stop on each side in order to keep students as much as possible from crossing busy streets. We try to do that in every bus stop that we have. If we have communities that we feel have unsafe roads, we always try to separate that. We've also taken into consideration, situations where Maybe a student doesn't qualify, but they do live, across a major thoroughway or a major highway, that we will try, our best to make accommodations for them to get them to school so that they're not crossing those streets. The scope of transportation services for us, as you can see here, our radiuses, our TK to second are 3/4 of a mile. That basically means if they live further than 3/4 of a mile, we'll provide a bus stop for them or offer them transportation. Third grade to fifth grade, the radius is 1 1/2 mile. So if they live beyond the 1 1/2 mile, we will provide busing for them as well. Our middle school, 6 through 8 is 3 miles. So anyone beyond the 3 miles, we will provide busing for. Part of that, though, last year, what we implemented and we brought to the board was some enhanced transportation eligibility, where it was a program we called Fill the Bus. And what that did was that gave opportunities for students that did not qualify for busing the opportunity to get on buses if they could get to an already established bus stop. I can tell you last year, we did have a good number of students that took advantage of that, which was really great. And we're expecting to get even more as the word gets out a little bit more this year. I think one way that we're going to get that is this year we're talking about maybe some early registrations for busing, that sort of stuff, ways to make sure that every student has a bus tag day one when they come to school, and we're not worrying about kids getting on buses without tags. But at that same time, in those communications, we want to include stuff about the Fill the Bus program, to try to take advantage as much as we can on that, because to be honest with you, we want as many students on the bus as we can possibly get. If we could fill every bus, we would all be happy. I mean, for one, we're getting more kids to school in the safest manner there is. Number two, we're taking cars out of the, already way congested elementary, or all the schools actually, the parking lots, and trying and lessening those numbers, which, hopefully would help out as well.
Question on that. I have a question on that one. So, help me understand that the TK to second is 3/4 of a mile, and third through fifth is 1.5 miles. But if they're going to the same school, that's where the Fill the Bus can come in, right?
Exactly, yes.
But what happens if they fill the bus, but there's still some fifth graders left over, for example, or third through fifth grade students left over? Do we then provide the bus even if it's that 3/4 mile?
So
they're going to the same school.
At this particular point, we're not at a position where those buses are filling up like that. We could already potentially have multiple buses. We can look at those avenues. We don't want to turn away any students. If they have a bus, if they're getting a ride, then we don't want to turn them around. But one of the reasons for it was that me coming in and knowing what the board policies and the distance were, to me, it didn't make sense to have, a student that was eligible for busing because of their address when they were in kinder through second grade, but now as a third grader, they don't qualify.
Right.
Or you have two siblings. One of them qualifies because they're a second grader, and the other one doesn't qualify because they're a third grader.
Right.
Well, what does that create? That creates a situation where the parents are just going to throw both of their children in the car, and they're going to take them. That just puts another car in the parking lot. So what this creates is a situation where we can take both students, and it's, we adopted that into board policy last year, and so we can do that. We haven't had a situation where we've had to deny anyone where those buses are filling up. I mean, our biggest problem is trying to get more to fill the buses up. That's our biggest dilemma.
Right.
So, and that's kind of the direction that we're moving to.
I've had an opportunity to look at that policy again and say maybe it's just TK through fifth since they're all going to the same school. Have a uniform thing, but we really appreciate your effort in trying to ensure that everyone gets there. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the scope of transportation for us is always getting kids, the students to school and home. That's our first priority. I mean, there's a lot that goes on within transportation from, activities and some of the other things that are listed here, which are all great, and we do our very best to try to get every one of those activities covered with the bus and a driver. But our main focus and first responsibility is to get those students to school and home from schools in the safest manner as possible. Yes, our scope of transportation is field trips and excursions. We're always going to, push those. I mean, my staff, my drivers, most of them are 6-hour employees. They want every hour they can get, trust me. The more things that we can provide for the students, the happier they're going to be. So we try to push for whatever we can. School activities, obviously, expositions, fairs, other activities, and other activities that benefit the students. We do the Adams busing. Some of that busing, again, is very, it's very involved because we take students, and that's in the special ed arena as well. We take students from all over the valley, and we take them to the school that best fits the program for them. So we have buses that go from the far end of our district to the other end of our district to take them to another school. So, we do everything we can to get there, and we've done, I think, a tremendous job. My staff, routing and all the different things have done a tremendous job to make all that happen. We also do the CTE stuff, so we have buses that go from high school to Amistad. We have buses that go over to do some cosmetology stuff. So we've got different buses that we have throughout the day as well that are going back and forth and assisting there. Obviously, students with disabilities, eligible transportation without regard to boundary limits, like I just said, we're going all over. We have a student right now that requires us to take that student all the way to Paris. So every day we pick up with one student and we drive that student all the way to Paris. We come back. We drive back out there, and we pick up that student, and we bring that student home. So we're doing everything we can, and I think they're doing a good job. And the other thing is we do it at no cost. There's a lot of districts that do charge for busing in California, a lot of them. But we've never done that, and, to my knowledge, it's not going to happen why I'm here. So, and then we also have the School Tripper program, which is the program for the high schools, which is Sunline, providing routes and certain stops for high school students to get on. I've had obviously that's not our program, but I try to stay involved as much as I can with that, just to make sure that they're getting to the stops on time and all the different things and evaluating, what's happening and why, students may be late and all those other things. So that's part of the scope. Let's make sure I did. Okay. Yeah. So, and then the transportation department, we have 71 bus drivers. Basically, all those positions are full now. I can tell you this is that, there is a huge crisis for bus drivers. And I know a lot of people know that. They know it from last year. But I'll tell you what, the team here at Desert Sands has done a great job. I mean, they keep feeding, the personnel department keeps feeding our department new candidates for subs. Those subs can take 3 to 4 months to train. So a lot of them come in, they don't have a license, and we prepare them, we get them a license, and then they start. So for us to have the 71 bus drivers and all those positions full is better than probably 95% of the districts out there. A lot of them are struggling to fill those positions. We also have 6 currently now, had 8 that are going through our program for becoming a sub. So we'll have the additional subs as well. So to have all of our position full and subs for call-offs and that sort of stuff, we'll be right back to where we were probably 5 years ago. But it's again a tribute to personnel, our staff getting people in, getting them trained, everyone, because it's really, it's been crazy. So we have a fleet of 105 buses. We've got 57 routes. I know some people say, well, you have 57 routes, but you have 71 drivers. We have what we call cover drivers, which cover field trips, call-offs, all the different things that happen throughout the day. So we try to make the routes as big as possible so that I can have as many cover drivers as possible to handle all those special events and all those things that go on. Also, I have 19 other staff members, dispatchers and trainers and office staff and mechanics in supervision. So I think altogether, we got a great team that makes things happen. And the thing about this transportation plan was, it was so easy to put together because we already did all these things. We already had the support of the board. management and everyone else to do all these things already. And so it was really just putting it on paper what we were doing. So kudos to everyone involved there. At this point, I think Jordan wants to go over some of the finances.
I'll just talk about the finances really briefly. If you look at the top, that's our total revenue for the program. Now that is made up of approximately $2 million under the local control funding formula. It's called the add-on piece, and then there's about $3 million of that is the home to school, the reimbursement program. So total revenues for transportation, all which fall within the unrestricted general fund, is $5 million. The expenditures that come out of this, from a year-to-year basis, is roughly $11 million this year, and so the district provides support to that program in the tune of $5.5 million. That's correct.
And then again, I just want to say thanks for the opportunity and thanks for your support always. Thanks for everyone in this room that's a part of the Desert Sands family, and I just look forward to continuing to try to provide the best transportation for the students of our district.
Do you have any comments?
Comments?
I wanted to say, Mr. Lawruski, Chuck, if I may, what a fabulous presentation. I have the distinct honor of being able to ride on the buses occasionally for some of the sporting events, and I want to say that they are always the cleanest buses. The people that are manning the buses are always extremely professional, always take the cautious route, and are always very, very good at ensuring that the travel is as safe as it can be with all the students. So I want to tell you, it's one of my simple pleasures in life, and I absolutely love going on a bus ride in a Desert Sands bus. So please extend that to all of the drivers. I definitely tell them every time. A lot of times incognito, I don't think they know. And then sometimes they look and go, "You look familiar," but at the end of the day, I tell them, "You do too," because you see these kids' faces every day, and you're a superhero in my book. Thank you again, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck, for your report. One of my questions was about field trips, because it seems like there aren't as many field trips as I remember, that kids would go on. So are all field trips covered, or it's you know what I mean? So the teachers are responsible for covering the field trips?
So what I can tell you about the field trips is we actually have more field trips now than we ever have.
Okay.
With the new ELOP funding and some of that other stuff, we're probably averaging about 30 to 50 more trips per month. I think last month we did almost 260 field trips.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
with ELOP, in-town trips are becoming very, very, very common. So more trips than ever. And that makes it a little bit tougher, because now you have a lot of people competing for those. And sometimes we do have to say we're going to need to use Cardiff, but we do everything in our power to not put that financial burden on the district by having to use Cardiff, and two, trying to make sure that our buses are the ones that are delivering those students.
That's great. That's great. Well, and reading my notes, I think. Anyway, your buses are always, always clean. I mean, I've never, ever seen a dirty Desert Sands bus. I mean, they are just like amazing. And the bus drivers are always very safe. And I've always said that, they're our first people that our kids see in the morning, and sometimes the last that they see at the end of the day. And so they really are appreciated for what they do to keep our kids safe from getting from point A to point B. And so that's all I have to say, but thank you, Chuck, for your report.
Thank you. I'll stay up there in case there's any other questions.
No, I just want to say thank you for the presentation and just your efforts in making sure that our students are getting, and thinking about how we can support the families. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, of course. Always my first thought.
I want to say for the classified employees, I'm so glad to see that we're also adding professional development for that part of our staff because they are the first to see the kids and the last. They can identify things to de-escalate things, to notice mental health issues, to just be there for the kids and be a supportive person. So, I mean, I've always enjoyed going on field trips and things with the bus, and they're really good with the kids, and so I appreciate all that you all do, and thanks for a great report.
Thank you. Yeah, just to add really quick, special ed department has some really good resources that have really reached out to us, and we've been working together with them for, learnings that our drivers really want in regards to de-escalation and how to handle different situations with different, students and stuff. So, again, that's just another partnership that we really, we really love. So.
Great.
I second everything they said. Unlike Mr. Duran, it's not one of my secret pleasures that I like to ride on a school bus.
Yeah.
But I did ride on one a couple months ago, really long trip from Carter to the McCollum, but it was very clean. It was very clean. Tomorrow I'm going on a field trip, not riding on the bus. I'm driving myself to the Living Desert, but I think my kindergartner is as equally excited to go to the Living Desert as he is to ride on a school bus. So
Nice.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, simple secret, same thing.
All right, so now we'll move on to the second interim financial report.
Well, I want to thank Chuck for doing a great presentation, because now everyone's going to sleep at the second interim. But before I get started, I wanted to put more of a face to how the budget gets developed. And I want to give a huge shout out to Erica Flores, our accounting manager, and Sonia Melendez, our director of fiscal services. A lot of the things that you don't see within the budget really have, the development of it really have an impact in the way that we do our operations with different programs throughout the district, and just the amount of staff that's housed through the development of the budget. And so doing a great job making sure that everything is done accurately, and that the reporting is accurate, and that we're not fluffing areas of the budget and really nailing it down when it comes to situations that we're dealing with regard to the state finances, make this job, in my opinion, extremely important. And I've been managing the budgets now for 21 years, and I truly do believe these two are top-notch in my experience in dealing with budgets. So I just want to thank them.
Woo!
Does this look familiar to anybody?
Yes.
What is it? It's a rhetorical question. It's a power bar symbol. So the theme of this presentation is illustrating various areas of the budget using bar charts. So you're going to see a lot of bar charts throughout this presentation. That's not a commercial for Power Bar, but it is an introduction to the presentation. So the more important thing to discuss when analyzing the budget is really taking a look at our variable components of the budget that impact it, and the fixed components of the budget that impact the development. So the major variable elements of the budget are, and we talk about this in every budget presentation: attendance, the unduplicated pupil count, student enrollment, and COLA. The average amount of money that we receive per student is $15,000, and that's predicated on the attendance of the student, the unduplicated count for the entire district, obviously the enrollment, and the amount of COLA that we receive on a year-to-year increase for that dollar amount per student. So here's a look at our attendance. Pre-COVID, our district's attendance was around 94.5%, right? And then we had a nice increase, creeping closer to the 95% range, and then COVID hit. During the year of the following year, when COVID started, we weren't required to report attendance for purposes of finances. So that's why you see the NA period there. Subsequent to COVID, our attendance now is barely creeping to 90%. I think we've done a better job this past year increasing that to 91%, and we're utilizing that 91% attendance percentage throughout our multi-year projection. So what does that mean? That means students are attending school 91% of the time. Our unduplicated pupil count, those are students with needs in the district. So our unduplicated meaning English learners, foster youth, so forth. That percentage has fluctuated, right? The COVID year was part of the non-reported year, but during that 2021 year, we were working really hard to get the income verification forms for students. And the law changed that allowed the district to call families to get families to fill that out so they could take the information over the telephone. And we embedded that process in our online enrollment. And so that really jumped our unduplicated pupil count up to closer to 80%. Why am I talking about that? Because that permeated into areas of community eligibility for our schools where students are no longer having to scan or everyone's receiving a meal. So that percentage not only increased our supplemental concentration funding significantly, but it also helped qualify some of our schools into areas of community eligibility so more students could have access to free meals. Oops. Again, talking about enrollment, always something that we show in all of our budget presentations. We've declined 11% since 2017-18. This past year, we lost a little over 500 students, and we are projecting to lose next year 235 students, or about 1%. So next year, we're showing a decline. Now, the years beyond the 24-25 year, we're showing no change in enrollment. Do I have a question?
I am clarifying, do these numbers include the charter schools?
No, they do not.
How much is that? Is it about 1,500 get more kids?
So here's just a different way to kind of look at the enrollment. I thought it was kind of interesting just to put kind of these blocks on there so you could even easily see when the largest drops were. So I thought that was just pretty neat. So I just added that in there. The COLA, again, the COLA is a measurement of the inflation for all government products throughout the whole United States. California uses that percentage to make adjustments to the Prop 98, which is basically the formula that funds all K-12 education throughout the state of California. Next year, that COLA is the governor projected a 0.76% COLA. I can tell you the third quarter came in throughout that calculation, and so if you do it yourself, the COLA is looking more in the 0.80% realm. If you project a 5% increase overall throughout the nation with regard to the cost of governmental goods, the COLA could increase to potentially around 0.9%. So not major, we're not talking another 5% COLA next year, but we're looking somewhere below 1%. This chart shows you the year-over-year change in our local control funding formula. Why is that important? Because every year we get a COLA, which is supposed to help offset the increases in our expenditures, right? We have step and column, which increases in the budget, and we have inflation, those kinds of things. The 2021 year, we had a zero COLA. Why did it go down? It's because we declined in enrollment. So the decline in the 24-25 year, and then in the subsequent year after that, is an effect of the small COLA and our declining enrollment. So we're not anticipating receiving more funding than we did from the previous year. The fixed elements of the budget, salaries, right? The transportation budget was 80% salaries. We're primarily, if you remove all the COVID, all these one-time dollars, we're really around an 85% of our budget is tied to personnel, which doesn't leave a lot of room for a lot of things because you have to pay utilities, you got to buy books. computer replacement, those kinds of stuff. But this is the year-over-year change to step and column. So next year, we're anticipating an increase of $4.4 million in step and column, which is about 1.1 to 1.2% for the following year. Something that's been really difficult to manage is the cost of pension increases, so the STRS and PERS. Kind of a crazy thought to me is, so the STRS rate, meaning for your retirement, if you are a teacher, the district pays 19 cents for every dollar of your salary, right? That's going to be the cost next year. And if you are a classified employee, that amount is 27 cents. So for every dollar that the district pays out to a classified employee on their salary, just for the PERS alone is almost 27 cents on the dollar. That doesn't include the cost of Social Security, workers' compensation, Medicare, all those other things, right? Just to give you some historical perspective on that, in 2017, 2018, it used to be 14 cents on the dollar for a teacher, and it used to be 15.5 cents on the dollar for a classified employee. So that cost pressure keeps adding up year over year, and that's a cost pressure to the budget. So when you add all those things together, you get a chart like this. And a chart like this probably means nothing to you. It looks pretty, it has numbers on it, but those numbers are significant amounts, right? So if you look at the 24-25 year, just the cost in step and column alone, we don't have a COLA to mitigate the impact of step and column and the pension increase, right? That's $5.1 million that we have to pay out to staff, right? In the form of salary or in the form of a tax to pensions. And that's the kind of the quandary that we're in. And this chart is just another way to illustrate that, right? So the 24-25 year, that LCFF, that gray bar, that's the amount of less money that we're receiving in our local control funding formula. And then the opposite amount is a step and column. That's the increase. So here is that whole financial packet that you approved, that second interim. This is it in its most simplistic form, right? I don't even know how many pages there are anymore because these great people do all that work. It is overly simplified in this slide. Yeah. But this is a representation of all those numbers, right? And when you look at the ending balance if you include the unrestricted and the restricted side, it's really high. And I think that's really good for us, right? Because we planned multi-years where we are at today. Right? We knew COVID was going to expire at some point. What we didn't know was going to be the state economics to see where we were going to be at from a financial perspective to afford all these things moving forward. So we positioned ourselves in a really good place in order to stave off whatever it is that we potentially are going to face. And we really don't know what that's going to look like yet.
Can you go back one slide?
Sure.
I want to understand so I see in red the 542 million. So net change of 2,700,000 roughly. So is that deficit spending?
Yeah, if it's red, that means money gone. Mm-hmm. If it's gray or black, that's either money coming in the district.
So then we ended up leftover 275 million?
Total. Restricted programs, which include targeted areas of the budget, Title I, those kinds of things. And then there's the unrestricted side, which is pretty much full discretion. Now, when you carve those things away, I haven't actually done it here, but I would bet that it would be close to these percentages. If you take away all these one-time dollars that we've received and strip down the budget to its core, we're probably in the 90 to 92% of our entire unrestricted general fund budget is tied to salary.
Does that make, can you go back? I'm so sorry.
Sonia, you'll have to check that for me. Yes.
Is that, so you have to work your way down the column, right? With the beginning balance, then looking at the revenues, looking at the expenses, looking at the net change, and then the ending balance. You have to go down.
The 121 million, the restricted, added to the committed or supplemental concentration or other, the 153, together that makes up the 275 that we have left over.
That's correct. Yeah, so a lot of that with regard to the committed supplemental concentration and other, remember, the board has to designate a part of its budget that doesn't, where the fallout, not the fallout, but the unassigned, unappropriated parts of the budget cannot exceed 10%. And so the board, through previous budget adoptions, designated it to help, I mean, we worded it in a way that gives us a little bit more flexibility than most, I would say.
Thank you.
Here's another power bar chart. Got to throw that in there. Difference between the LCFF 1 year to the next. This is, again, stripping it to its core. We are losing $11.7 million in LCFF. We have to pay out $4.4 million in step and column, and we have a $686,000 increase in our pensions. So collectively, that's $16.9 million that we didn't have to pay this year that we will have to pay next year. So taking all those variables, fixed components into play, the summary is this. This is the multi-year projection for the district based on projected enrollment, staffing, unduplicated pupil count, all those items. This is it in its core. And if you're looking for that page, it's somewhere 8/10 of the way back, somewhere buried in there somewhere. This is what it is. And you won't find it like this. It'll be multiple pages that you'll have to probably, I don't know, something like that. We've talked about it before in previous meetings. And you guys have seen it through news reports, so I don't have to go over it in any detail, but we're not sure where the state's going to be from a financial perspective. So the COLA is low. The big question is, you know, what are the programs that they're going to plan on funding next year, trying to address their budget, the huge budget that they are facing. So again, all of that is going to trickle down at some point. And so we'll anticipate getting additional information in May, the May revision, that takes into account all the different, the state has a better picture of their tax collection, so they're able to forecast a little better based on sales tax, those kinds of things. And they will know at that point what the COLA really will, well, actually, they won't know. They'll know more closely what the COLA will look like at that point. The governor will put out a May revision to his budget. It's going to go through a whole process with the legislature, and they're going to come together and adopt the budget before July 1. And when they do that, I'll come to you with any revisions that are necessary, but we'll have a better picture as to what our budget's going to look like the further we go down the year. Any questions?
I appreciate your team's hard work. I can't imagine. I am not good with numbers, so I appreciate the chart. So, thank you.
Is there a reason we didn't actually get power bars? That was my question.
Do better.
Just saying. I mean, really. Just saying. Keep talking about it.
Oh, the power bar was for the presentation? Sorry.
Next time,
Was that
Jordan.
bad? Okay. My apologies.
Thanks, Jordan. Okay. Public hearing number 03/2023-2024, high school advanced placement pre-calculus textbook adoption. Anyone wishing to make a comment during the public hearing, please approach the podium and I will open public comments at 8:32 p.m. Hearing none, closing public comments at 8:33 p.m. To public hearing number 04/2023-2024, high school advanced placement statistics textbook adoption. Anyone wishing to make a comment during the public hearing, please approach the podium and I will open public comments at 8:33 p.m. Hearing none, closing public comments at 8:34 p.m. General Functions Business Services. There are 5 items in General Functions Business Services. Is there a motion to take these items as a group or individually?
Motion to take as a group.
Is there a second?
Second, Linda Porras.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with 1 preferential vote. General Functions Educational Services. There are 6 items in General Functions Educational Services. Is there a motion to take them as a group or individually?
Move approval to take them as a group.
Is there a second?
Second, Pierce.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with 1 preferential vote. General Functions Personnel Services. Since this is a personnel item, our student board member will not be voting. There are 3 items in General Functions Personnel Services. Is there a motion to take them as a group or individually?
So move, take them as a group.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. General Function Student Support Services, there are none. General Function Superintendent, there are none. Consent Item Student Matters, Dr. May Volmar.
Yes, in item 4.1, reinstate student case number 22/23-39 on a motion made by Trustee Porras and seconded by Trustee Alvarez. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation for reinstatement.
And this is where our agenda item numbers will start to change. Number 24, consent items, business services. There are 8 items in consent items, business services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually?
Motion to take them as a group, Pierce.
Is there a second?
Second, Alvarez.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with 1 preferential vote. 25, consent items, educational services. There are 10 items in consent items, educational services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with 1 preferential vote. 26, consent items, personnel services. There are none. 27, consent items, student support services. There are 2 consent items, student support services. Is there a motion to take these as a group or individually? Is there a second?
Second, Pierce.
Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with 1 preferential vote. 28, consent item, superintendent. There is one item in consent item, superintendent. Is there a motion?
So moved, Linda Porras.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, calls for the question, preferential vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0 with one preferential vote. 29, personnel actions certificated. Dr. Hyde.
So good evening. I'm excited to announce we have a number of retirements to celebrate on our certificated side, actually 8 individuals who have a total of 193 combined years of service to our school district. So I wanted to say kudos to all of these folks, and very, very happy for them all.
Since this is a personnel item, our student board member will not be voting. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second, Pierce.
Any discussion?
I want to say congratulations for making it to the finish line and enjoy your retirement.
Calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. Personnel actions classified. Dr. Hyde.
Okay, not to be outdone, we don't have 8 retirements, but we do have one, and that's Sherry Apodaca, who is retiring as a groundskeeper 2 at La Quinta High School after 32 years of service to Desert Sands. So let's give her a round of applause.
Since this is a personnel item, our student board member will not be voting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any
Pierce.
discussion? Mm-hmm.
Have to learn how to sleep in. I don't know.
Calls for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 5-0. 31, call out of closed session items. Dr. May Volmer.
Yes, item 4.2, in closed session, request to postpone hearing on student case number 23-24-17 on a motion made by trustee Porras, seconded by trustee Duran. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the postponement of the hearing. In item 4.3, General Release and Settlement Agreement SSS number 12/2023-2024 on a motion made by trustee Pierce and seconded by trustee Porras. The motion carried 5-0 with the board accepting the recommendation to approve the General Release and Settlement Agreement. Tonight, in closed session, item 4.4, the board approved the appointment of the following individuals. Beatrice Gonzalez as school psychologist, Gina Mann as school psychologist, and Dennis Zink as senior director, certificated personnel. This passed with a motion made by trustee Alvarez, seconded by trustee Porras, and the vote was unanimous. Tonight, under closed session agenda item 4.5, the board took action to issue a notice of certificated administrative employee number 108416 that they shall be released from their administrative position and reassigned pursuant to Ed Code Section 44951, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. This was passed on a motion by trustee Duran, seconded by trustee Porras, and the vote was unanimous. In closed session, the board took action to issue a notice of certificated administrative employee number 163057 that they may be released from their administrative position and reassigned pursuant to Ed Code Section 44951, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. This passed on a motion by trustee Duran, seconded by trustee Pierce, and the vote was unanimous. In closed session, the board took action to issue a notice of certificated administrative employee 219711 that they may be released from their administrative position and reassigned pursuant to Ed Code Section 44951, effective at the end of the 2023-2024 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. Passed on a motion by trustee Duran, seconded by trustee Porras, and the vote was unanimous.
32, suggestions for future agendas that receive at least 3 votes. Mr. Jewett. Mr. Duran.
I have none this evening.
Ms. Porras. Mr. Alvarez.
Information from about our ELOP. What do we have as far as support for our families in the morning hours? some type of sunrise program or just some information as to what is currently going on and what can we be doing?
Yeah, actually, we're actually preparing that for this week's Friday letter, so you'll have that this week.
Yours?
I have none. Thank you.
I do have nothing for a future agenda, but something that I would like to receive from Cabinet. And let me preface that I appreciate everything our security department does, but this is to follow up on a request that Mr. Duran asked for last meeting regarding our surveillance system. And I would like to ask for a recurring report of fights or acts of aggression incidents that are happening at our schools. I hear from parents and students that we have fights and incidents happening weekly, if not more frequently. I want to make sure that we as a district are identifying areas that are of high occurrence, whether they be in some of those blind spots that the cameras aren't reaching, or if they're in common areas that we need more support or more eyes in. If the schools are providing accurate information about where and when these incidents are occurring, I think we can identify weak areas and better protect our staff and our students. So if any schools are misrepresenting information, saying things are not happening, this will be noticeable. If fights aren't happening, then what is that site doing that other sites aren't doing? I want this information to ensure accountability and transparency. I want it for the safety of our students and our staff, and I want it so that we as a district can work together to find out what's working and what's not.
Absolutely. We've actually already been talking with staff on something like this, so we'll make sure that we develop a plan to get the board reoccurring updates.
33 announcements. Next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be March 19th, 2024 in the District Education Boardroom, 47950 Dune Palms Road, La Quinta, California, 92253. We do not need to reconvene to close session. This meeting is adjourned at 8:44 p.m.